This week's Torah portion includes a bit of advice from Moshe and echoed as a command by God, in which the Israelites are told, do not fear, do not be anxious. It's a surprising instruction. On the one hand, and Ramban, Nachmanides, reads it in this vein, that Moshe is trying to console the Israelites about the transition that is about to happen. He tells them, look, I'm 120. You know, my days are numbered. You're going to cross the Jordan into the promised land, and I'm not going with you. And so, I get it. I've been the leader of the people for 40 years. It's going to be strange, and it's going to be weird, and you're going somewhere where you don't know, and it's natural to feel anxious. And so Ramban says, Moshe is trying to say to the Israelites, it'll be okay, don't worry. But a few verses later, the same idea is commanded again as part of Moshe's instructions, not just to Joshua, who will assume the mantle of leadership, but to the people as a whole. Don't be afraid. Do not fear. And it's a strange idea, and in some ways it's the same problem as when we read earlier in the book of Deuteronomy, you shall love the Lord your God. How do you command and compel people to feel something or to not feel something? And I think my teacher, Professor Yochanan Mafs, in his remarkable book entitled Love and Joy, touches on the issues of law and language and religion in ancient Israel, and tries to resolve this dilemma that we're on. How do I command love? How do I tell someone, you're afraid? Yeah, don't be afraid. And so Mufs explains it as follows, that when the Torah commands love, its understanding of love is reflected through the prism of the covenant, and it is intended in a pragmatic sort of way. He says we cannot condition ourselves to feel love on command, but we can express love and fulfill the divine commandment and expectation through our positive actions. How we act is more determinant for Mufs than how we feel. And I think the same is true here. The commandment not to fear is not so much about repressing the real fears and anxieties that our ancestors had, but by confronting them directly and practically so as to be able to overcome them or get past them. I think Moshe is trying to tell our Israelite ancestors, and by extension us, that in the real world, we have to face the things that scare us and terrify us. It's almost a form of biblical exposure therapy. Read through the prism of Professor Mufs, I think we can understand why and how Joshua was deemed worthy to succeed Moses as the leader of the people as they are about to enter the promised land. After all, Joshua has demonstrated the necessary capacity to do stuff in the face of fear. Go back to the early period of the wandering, and the Israelites are attacked by the Amalekites, and they're afraid. They've never faced battle. They've been slaves. They've been beaten into submission, and yet they have to fight. And who is it that leads the Israelite army against the Amalekites? Yes, it's Joshua. It was a trick question. Fast forward. A few months later, Joshua is one of the only 2 of the 12 spies who are sent to do reconnaissance work in the land of Israel, and he and Caleb are the only 2 who stand up and say, we can't do it. The naysayers are wrong. They're letting their fear rule them. Joshua refused to succumb to that fear. And I think Moshe and the Torah give us in that instruction what I think has been the key to Jewish survival. It gives us the resolve to persevere, to persist no matter what our lot and what legitimate fears and problems present themselves in the world. It is, as Rav Nachman of Bratslav taught, Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od. All the world is a very narrow bridge, the ha'ikar. And the most important thing is lo lefached klal, is not to be overwhelmed by fear, to allow ourselves to be paralyzed, but rather to find ways to move forward, step by step. And in that way, we overcome not only our fears, but we fulfill God's mandate for us. Chaverim, let me invite you to return to your Sidurim, and we continue with Aleinu, page 56.